Africa. And then we will also look at a summary of the role that WACSI plays. And then we will have a discussion on the role or the possible roles that partners under the TechSoup Connect West African chapter can also play, for the betterment of TechSoup West Africa. Okay, so delving right into it, who are we at the West Africa Civil Society Institute, as we are known as WACSI for short? So basically, WACSI is a capacity building organization. We were set up in the year 2005 by OSIWA. OSIWA is Open Society Initiative for West Africa. And our core mandate is to strengthen civil society in West Africa to be responsive, to be collaborative, to be sustainable, resilient, and influential. And how do we do this? We do this through organizing trainings, sharing of knowledge, learning, connecting, and then networking and influencing amongst our constituents. Now, we have 4 major thematic areas that we operate in WACSI. The first one is civil society sustainability. And in this, we like to think that civil society sustainability goes beyond just availability of funds. We believe that all civil society organizations should have the ability and the capacity to maintain an independence and be able to generate their own funds. Recently, there has been a conversation about community driving their own development, and we were very much actively involved in that. So we believe that in getting a sustained civil society organization, you have to go beyond just asking for donor funding all the time, but be able to drive your own development by generating your own funds in order to carry on with your social mission. And then the next one is enabling environment. We all know the role that civil society organizations play in the development of every society. To be able to play our role well, that means we need the right environment to be able to operate. So with this notion, we have put it on ourselves to equip civil societies with the right tools that they can use to get access to the appropriate laws and policies, for instance, and also to indulge in the political space, and also to advocate for free association and participation through availability of resources and access to technology, like we are doing with TechSoup West Africa. And then, of course, the thematic area that informs or that backs our active role in TechSoup West Africa is the third one, that is technology for development. So in this, we seek to strengthen the capacity of all civil society organizations in West Africa to be able to embrace and adapt technology. And in our many engagements with civil societies across the region, we have realized that it goes beyond just funds. Most organizations and most actors do not even have what it takes in terms of skill, and they do not even know where they can have access to these kinds of tools. So we want to significantly and effectively contribute to organizations, institutional and operational growth by giving them access to technology tools, and information that they will need to be able to embrace the technology that they need. And last but not the least is women and youth leadership. I know this is a global phenomenon, and in our region, women groups or women constitute the largest proportion of our population, but yet they suffer, marginalization in socio-economic issues and then development policies. This is because there's a notion that women and youth lack the capacity, the knowledge and the skills to be able to contribute to the development of the society. So at WACSI, we are committed to giving specific and deliberate support to strengthen the agency of women and then youth networks in West Africa. So these are the 4 main thematic areas that we operate in WACSI, across the West African region. So now, how do we engage our constituents? I've spoken about our thematic areas, some of our core mandates and all of that, but how do we really carry out what we want to do? Now, some of the ways we carry out, and these are pictures of some of our engagements, are through physical trainings. So we hold trainings across the region. We travel from country to country, and then we train organizations on a number of topics. We look at some of them. And then we also do convening. So we bring together coalitions of civil society organizations, and we discuss ways that we can engage government, ways that we can engage, appropriate stakeholders in order to effect the change that we need as a people. We also do virtual. We do webinars a lot. There are a lot of webinars that we run, across the year. And then Eli mentioned at the beginning that we have a very rich and a large pool of resources when it comes to publications. So there's a lot of knowledge. If you go to our website and you go to publications, there's a lot of research materials, a lot of news, a lot of op-eds and the likes. And also we have blogs that colleagues, and other actors that are not necessarily in the organization, from other, bodies also contributing to the knowledge that we want to share and make available for the civil society organizations that we work with and that we serve. We also, of course, have a rich source of videos that are interviews and success stories and experiences that organizations, share with us based on the experiences that they have had with us and other experiences that they may have on the various endeavors and encounters they do in their various organizations and countries. So all of these are resources that other NGOs, other civil society organizations can tap into, and then they can make decisions or learn from it and be better informed. Now, let me quickly mention some of the trainings, the topical trainings that we do. So we have trainings on effective communication skills, data and information management, financial management, social accountability. We also do digital security, proposal writing, civic leadership. And then when it comes to advocacy workshops, we do lobbying and leadership. And then we also do amplifying women's voices. Now there are some flagship, knowledge bases or courses that started as a course or a training, but now has been developed into other platforms. The first one is the alternative funding models, where organizations can learn various ways that they can acquire funding, to help them to achieve their social mission. Now, this started as a guide, but now, through one of our partners, we've been able to take this onto an online course platform where organizations can come and enroll, and then they will go through the entire course. I think there are about 12 models, and then at the end of the day, you would know the various ways that you can get funding to help the operations of your organization. And then in recent times, we had, a very huge conference, and that was called Shifting the Power. And so this was also to equip organizations to change our mindsets and also to drive our own development, ways that we can come together as a people and get the funding that we need from the communities that we serve, generating our own revenue and all of that. So the findings and the materials are available for anyone who wants to take them, and then you can make decisions and move on with that. Okay, so now that is that about what that is just a brief and a summarized, version of what and who we are at WACSI. Now, through our various engagements with nonprofits, and that is a huge number of people we are talking about, we realize that there are certain challenges that were common or consistent from country to country, from organization to organization. And this has got to do with technology alone. So what we realized was that organizations were always complaining about lack of funding. And before I even continue, let me mention that these are challenges that we faced ourselves at the initial stages of our technology adoption endeavors. So we always had the same issues, and then we realized that organizations are also going through them. Funding is one major aspect because there's the notion that technology is costly. And so we had that complaint from people that they are not ready to, jump onto any new technology because they don't have the money to do that. And then, there are some people too that will say that you are coming to us with technology, applications, software, and all of that, but where are the devices that we can install them on? We only have our phones, we only have one computer or this or that. So where are the devices really? And what if I have to travel somewhere and my computer is in my office? How do I get to work, on the technology that you have brought to me? And then there's also the issue of teams working at various locations. So some organizations, were of the concern that their team is spread out. So if you are bringing an application to them in, let's say, the southern part of a country, and they have another team in the northern part of that country, how do they come together to work, with the same application? So these are some challenges that organizations were so keen on and were complaining to us, and even still are complaining whenever we try to reach out to them. Now, obviously, all these things that I spoke about can be addressed, or these issues can be addressed with the adoption of technology. So we also came back and we sat down and we put together some benefits that technology provides that seeks to address the challenges they are facing. So these are things that we always provide when we get to engage with organizations. Technology will help you to be productive anywhere. We know that now with the advent of cloud, you don't need to be physically present at a place to be able to get access to a file or a document that you need to work on. So you can be in any part of this world and still come together with your colleagues and work on a particular file. Now, the other aspect is that you don't need to buy software for each and every computer that you want to use a particular application on. Because of cloud. Again, you can install one application on a server, and then all colleagues in your organization can have access to them. And of course, these are very, very, very cost effective, because in the past, to be able to have a backup system, you need to purchase a high-end server, which is very, very expensive. But with cloud, you pay for what you have, what you want to use, and then you don't need to spend too much money in setting up the whole server infrastructure. So definitely there are a lot of benefits that technology can bring on board to help organizations to solve these issues. It goes without saying, and it's quite, I don't know whether to use sad or unfortunate, but most of the time when we engage with organizations, and it's a matter of concern, and I know if any of us here have been engaging with organizations in trying to, bring them to use technology, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, because organizations simply do not really know why and even for those that know, they seem to take the position of wanting you to convince them the more. So it's like it's more like a bitter pill for them to swallow. Like they know that this is something that we need. Technology has come to stay. We need to embrace it. But there's still this notion that we are not ready yet. So as a matter of fact, anytime we have the opportunity to engage with organizations, we go the extra mile to explain to them, to give them scenarios, to give them key, experiences that we have had, to share with them experiences of other organizations, so that they can actually, benefit from technology, because it is something that it's almost impossible to work with in this day and age if you want to be working legitimately and gain all the recognition that you need on a global level. Then you definitely need technology. So it's something that we all ought to understand, so that when we are out there and we are engaging with organizations, we can, tell them more about technology and also show them where they can have access to. Now, introducing or talking about TechSoup, we all are part of TechSoup Connect, and I'm tempted to believe that there is a high chance that we know, if not everything, just a little bit about TechSoup in general. But let me just do a quick run through it. TechSoup, as we all know, is an NGO in itself, and it's based in the United States. What TechSoup does is that it provides support to organizations through providing applications in terms of software, in terms of services, in terms of online courses. You know, TechSoup is the go-to place for organizations, non-profit organizations across the world. Now, in the various regions across the world, there are representatives that manage the TechSoup program. So TechSoup West Africa is what we fall within. And so we are going to look at TechSoup West Africa, and the goal of TechSoup West Africa is to provide subsidized and donated technology products and services to all CSOs in West Africa. So far as you are a CSO in West Africa, you can have access to applications and services that TechSoup West Africa provides. So let's go through some of the benefits of the TechSoup West Africa program, and I will just pick on some of them. So there are applications that are very, very expensive, no doubt about that, on the market. You know, if you want to get a genuine Windows license, for instance, you are looking at about $200 per license on the market. If you want to get an Office license, you are looking at about $400. So these applications, because of how good they are and how effective they are expensive. But TechSoup says that no, we are non-profits. We are already struggling with funds. So I have all these applications through donor partners. And then we are going to make it available for every non-profit organization that needs them. And we are scraping off 95% of the market value. 95% of the market value is going away so that non-profit organization gets to pay just 5%. So that is one aspect of the benefits of the TechSoup project. We also are saying that all the applications that have been carefully selected to feature on the TechSoup platform is aimed to boost our productivity. And I mean, we are living testimony at WACSI, and many of the organizations that have come to acquire products, you know, have spoken about how it has changed their operations in a very spectacular way. I mean, it reduces a whole lot. And one thing that is very marvelous about the applications that are available, and we'll be looking at them soon, is that it facilitates teamwork and collaboration. So that I'm currently on leave, but I've been collaborating with my colleagues, you know, very, very effectively. If we need to work on a file, it's just a matter of them, you know, referring me in the file, and then I'll get a notification. I'll go to the file, make my input. I don't need to send it because it's online. We are collaborating on the same file. So it really speeds up work for us, and thereby boosting our productivity. So it's an all-in-one, you know, package, and there are a lot of applications available. Let's look at some of the applications available on the platform. And these are just a few. You go to the catalog, you see a lot of them. Now we know Zoom. This is what we are using for this particular meeting. Zoom comes with an amazing 50% off, you know, with all the licenses. So you know, with Zoom you can get some add-ons. At the end of the day, you can get add-ons and everything that you've added to your cart to be about $2,000, depending on the features that you want. If you are coming from a big organization, for instance, you may be looking at getting license and all of that to the tune of about $5,000. TechSoup is scraping off $2,500 for you, so that you are just paying half of it. We have Bitdefender antivirus. This day and age, we know that cyber attacks are rampant. So you can't say that you are prone or immune to cyber attacks. It will happen to you if you are not protecting yourself. So we tell organizations that Bitdefender is one of the, you know, big names in antivirus. So once you want them, when you come to TechSoup, it comes with an amazing discount, a huge one at that. And then of course, Microsoft is one of our major donor partners. So we have almost all the Microsoft applications. Office 365, one of our flagship programs, amazing application, and then Windows Server, SharePoint, Teams, a whole host of others. that are available that we need to tell nonprofit organizations about, because they need these organizations. They need it. So we really need to reach out to them and tell them that these are the applications that are available for you, and you don't need to pay the full amount. You just need to pay some 5% or 10% to get access to them. Now, looking at the price model, for instance, I already gave a sneak peek of it. Office, I already mentioned. So you pay just $52, thereby saving your organization $387 that you can use for other endeavors. With Bitdefender, we are paying just $17 instead of almost $80. And then operating system Windows, the genuine one. Mind you, the genuine one always comes with extra security features. I'm a technology person. Back in the day, before we know that a lot of people can get access to Microsoft Windows from other sources, but that will not be genuine. And then definitely they are exposed to cyber attacks, and then they will bring them to us for us to try to solve. Some of them are not because someone is sitting somewhere trying to hack their computers, but it's because they are not receiving regular updates. So any small virus or any small cyber attack can easily get to their computers. So these are just to look into our price models. Office 365, an amazing tool that every organization needs. You can see that the first option that goes for $6 per user per month on the market is absolutely free on TechSoup. Absolutely free. Organizations just need to come to us and show interest that this is what we want. They don't pay a dime and they will get it. And those that want to also go further, they can get what is for $15 for just $3. So this is just for us to look at our price model. Now, these are other services that we also provide in TechSoup. The first one is technology consultancy and advisory services, so that any organization can call us anytime. If, for instance, they want to embark on digital transformation or technology adoption of any sort, they can come to us and ask us all the questions they want to ask. And then, of course, our experts will be there to support them, to guide them through, the process of adopting any technology they want to do. The Office 365 also comes with a couple of configurations and deployment services that a technical person needs to do. So any organization that acquires licenses from us that do not have the requisite skills or the technical know-how to deploy Office 365, we are able to help them through that process. And then also, most of our applications comes with installation instructions. So any organization that acquires any sort of application from us that is going through some issues trying to install them, we are able to step in upon request and guide them through the installation process. And then our team in the African region also assist in the email migration, so that if you are on a domain email platform like Webmail or any other one, and you want to migrate to Microsoft or Office 365, we are able to do the migration for you, so that all your existing emails will now be moved to Office 365 for you. Now we have also started doing web design and development for organizations across the region. So this is something that it has been in communication or conversation for a while. And so we are just looking at rolling it out fully in the coming years, so that we can be able to support a lot of organizations, so that they can have a strong presence online. And then we have a rich library of online courses that organizations can come and get the skills that they need, hands-on skills. We have skills in Excel, skills in PowerPoint, digital security skills, social media skills, and all of those things that can be handy and can be worthwhile for organizations. And now I have mentioned civil society organizations, but breaking them down, it's not only NGOs that we support, we also support networks and coalitions, community-based organizations, associations, public libraries, faith-based organizations that include churches, mosques, and all of those ones. We support all of them. They all are eligible to benefit from the TechSoup program. Now, for organizations to be able to benefit from the TechSoup program, is 3 steps. First of all, you need to register or sign up. An individual that is designated by the organization needs to sign up. And once the individual signs up, then the individual can register the organization. So once the organization is registered, we will validate at WACSI, and then they can begin to request for donations. So it's as simple as that. With these 3 steps, organizations can begin to access applications. And all of this can happen within a day for them if all their files are ready. So just to go through the steps, if you want to register, this is the URL, westafrica.techsoup.global. You select your country, and then you sign up with your details. We'll validate your details for you. Register your organization. We'll validate your organization for you. And then you start requesting for organizations. Now, sorry, you start requesting for donations. Now, these are the donor partners we have. These are not all. These are just some of them that I've put here: Microsoft, Box, DocuSign, Amazon, Bitdefender, Tableau, Zoom, Autodesk. Okay, so yes, in summary, this is TechSoup West Africa. This is what we do. And just lastly to look at, before we jump into our discussions, the role of WACSI in TechSoup West Africa. We manage the donation program, we validate organizations, we process product orders. So when organizations order for products, we receive the payment, and then we process the order to be released to them. We also publicize the TechSoup donation program across the region. So any publication that you see on social media, on WhatsApp, that is coming, in relation to TechSoup West Africa, that is coming from WACSI. And then we are always there to provide advisory support services to organizations. So this is WACSI, and this is TechSoup West Africa. The last thing that I would want us to do, and this one, I think if Eli can also help in coordinating this, is for us to have a discussion on possible engagements with TechSoup Connect partners on how we can come together and promote or to share the message across to our constituents. So maybe we can have that discussion and put down some pointers so that we know, because this is an unending endeavor. It's something that is endless. We need to do it consistently over and over again. So yes, thank you very much for the audience. And at this point, I will hand over to Eli. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Kwame, for the great overview of the work in WACSI with TechSoup West Africa, and your explanation of the discount and donation program and the opportunities it brings was really clear. Actually, I think TechSoup in the United States could really learn a lot from that. That was really very helpful. So I think there's 2 things I want to discuss, which is I think the big thing is just how do we stay in touch? We're a distributed team. And so one of the things I just want to get a sense of is what is the best ways for the TechSoup Connect hosts to keep in touch with the latest news and updates that are coming from WACSI. I know you have joined actually the West Africa hosts WhatsApp group, which I think is really a fabulous move, and I appreciate that. But are there other newsletters or where would people go to make sure that they get the latest news from WACSI?
Yes, okay, so for now, I think we are actively doing a lot of social media. We are actively doing that a lot. So we are posting like 3 times in a week on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. What we can also do is that every post, and since it's social media, so it's quite minimal in text, and then we also have the graphics that we send along. We can always post whatever we share on social media in the WhatsApp group so that it will be easy for our partners to pick them up and then also carry it across. So we can do that.
Great. Yeah, I think that sounds like a really helpful resource to just make sure that that's right in front of the host so they can therefore go out and share and amplify that work. Because I think that's what's happening in WACSI is going to be very valuable to our local members in each one of the chapters. So I think that would be one really good way for us to make the connection. The other thing I would encourage the other hosts to do is when they're sharing their own promotion around their events on social media, is to go and is to tag WACSI there. And WACSI is on Twitter. I put those handles in there, but also, of course, on Facebook as well. So I would say, like, always make sure that you tag WACSI, and they may be able to amplify your work in turn. The other things I think about when I think about connections is it's always a challenge for each one of the local hosts to come up with a guest presenter, find a case study, have the topics around these events. And I don't know if there may be opportunities where maybe someone comes to you and says, like, hey, I want to host something for you. I want to be a guest expert, but maybe there's no room in your calendar, or maybe it's not a perfect fit for what you're looking to do that month. Those are the kinds of things that I think could be referred to us in the West Africa team, because they would always looking for new guest presenters. So that could be one other way for us to connect our work together.
Yes, totally, Eli. I agree with you on that. Yes, and in also trying to look at these events that we are organizing across the region. Most of the time, what we do at WACSI is, even for the trainings that are not directly technology based, once we are done with those trainings, we always find the time to introduce TechSoup to them. So yes, I think going forward, one thing that we can leverage on is every other event that we are hosting that is for TechSoup West Africa. We can have maybe 5 minutes or just a short time to present TechSoup donation program to them, and also to show them how they can have access to it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. If you're able to have time in your schedule to like jump in at the beginning of some of these TechSoup Connect events across the region to do a short version of what you did today, to talk a little bit about what is, WACSI, how could TechSoup West Africa support NGOs in that country? That would be very valuable as well, and I would appreciate that. Um, the other thing I'd like to explore, and I know this is a bigger ask, is if there's any possibility to access the WACSI email list to maybe put together an email that says, like, here are the new TechSoup Connect chapters in this region, and maybe just wants to encourage people to go and join those chapters so they can get alerts for upcoming events. And there is actually an email template we've created in the US that could be adapted to that purpose. But I also know that email lists are precious, and people are always very cautious around them. So I'm definitely not going to insist upon that.
Okay, yes, Eli, it's quite interesting. So you mentioned that you have an email template that you have put together, right?
Yeah, so when we launch new chapters, there's like an email saying, like, hey, friends in country, like, check out this great new chapter. Here's 2 other upcoming events. And we don't send that every month, but it's something that we send maybe once or twice a year, saying, like, hey, here's a way for us to support this chapter in that country.
Yes, I think, yes, in the spirit of networking, it's something that we can definitely look at. So yes, you can send that to us, and then we'll schedule it in our mailing calendar. And
Well,
then we can.
that would be lovely. I appreciate that. And to do it at a time, of course, that fits best with your other content strategy, of course. So that would be amazing. But it sounds to me like our really practical next steps are for us to have each one of the TechSoup Connect leaders follow WACSI on the social channels, on Facebook and on Twitter. And also, to go to the website and join the email newsletter, which I'm part of as well, which is a great place to get updates on the latest work that's happening out of WACSI. And then the other thing to do is, when we as hosts are promoting our upcoming events on LinkedIn or on Twitter or on Facebook, to make sure that we are tagging WACSI in those posts, so that way you have the opportunity to see those, potentially share them, and sort of do that sort of social amplification. And then the other thing that is interesting is to make sure that we have the WACSI team who are members of the upcoming chapters, so they can see event alerts, And then if there is staff availability, to have them just pop in for the first 5 or 10 minutes of some of these upcoming events to give a quick welcome on behalf of WACSI and to present a couple of the slides that you presented today, especially I think helping people learn the value of the product discount and donation program.
Yes, definitely, Eli. That is something that, I mean, we are building a family right here, so it will be great that we actively involve ourselves also in the events that are being run by the various chapter heads. I saw an event as early as tomorrow, so it's something that, yeah, I know this one was a bit private, but anytime there's an event like that and we get to share it on the WhatsApp group, for instance, then we can also share across with our constituents, and then gradually we can build a spirit of inclusion.
Yeah, thank you. That's appreciated. And yeah, and so we'll make sure that we also share our upcoming events as we post them into the WhatsApp group as well. That I think will be the central place for us to do our communication. And right now within the West Africa region, we have active chapters in Nigeria, in Ghana, and in Cameroon. For the TechSoup Connect hosts who are on the line right here, I'd say we've got Clement, we've got Kisheni, we've got Berati. If you have any other ideas about how we may be able to collaborate and amplify each other's work, I would love for you to come and share that with us as well. And you can do that either in the chat if you don't have access to audio, or of course you can come on mic as well. Go ahead, Clement.
Hello.
Perfect, we hear you, go ahead.
Thank you so much. At least this is an eye-opener, and thank you for the good work of WACSI, TechSoup Africa, what is doing. Like one of our challenges as a new entrant, is picking a facilitator. I think the issue of connection, engagements, I would like to connect with him in my subsequent event I am planning to host. Maybe he will do an introduction to the new members or the participants that are coming in to know more about TechSoup, the nation program and all that. So maybe he will be the lead facilitator. Maybe after this, there will be a way of it. We can connect, one aspect, that's one aspect. And another thing is, I'm looking at most of these NGOs don't know how to use all this product, Amazon, Office 360. Most of them are just familiar with traditional Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoints. So, but I think some of these software products are a little bit advanced, So is there any plan for them to really, someone during the webinar or during the Zoom meeting to really teach them how to use maybe Amazon Web Server, how to use Office 360 or Microsoft projects, a Microsoft team? I think these are the things that's really, influence or promote their work as a non-profit. So we're looking at how can we bring an expert with respect to training them on these products that are in TechSoup. Most of these core products that an NGO team will find useful and relevant. Thank you so much.
So I'll start. I think one valuable resource to start with is actually the TechSoup courses, which includes many free online classes. And I've just included a link in the chat to the Africa version of the TechSoup courses. So I think that's one place you can go to take a look at. The other thing is that for you as TechSoup hosts, you actually have free access to even the paid courses within that platform. So once you've completed two of your events and are a fully active host, you can apply to get free access to these courses. And if you reach out to me, I can give you more details on that process.
Yes. Thank you very much, Eli. Yes, definitely the course platform is a great resource for training on some of the applications that we use. And then also, I think, Clement, what you said is very practical and what is really happening on the ground, because most of the time we try to tell organizations about the products we have, but I mentioned earlier that they do not even know how to use these ones, or may not even have heard of it, even though it will really be of much help to them. But one thing that we have also seek to do is, in some of our webinars, when we speak about ways that organizations can, maintain or thrive in this remote working areas, we introduce some of these applications to them and how they can use them. But then it's almost as if much effort is needed in getting more people to come to these events, because it's through these events that we try. And as you have also even suggested, that if there are events like that that we are telling organizations how to use these products, it will be very helpful. So I think going forward, like I mentioned, this is an endless process. Anytime these events come, we'll try as much as possible to reach as much people as we can. As a matter of fact, we have a webinar coming on next week, and definitely we will share that in the chat in a bit, so that we can all come together to share with people. And then once they come on board and learn how to use some of these tools, it will really be helpful. You mentioned Amazon Web Services and Office 365. That is well noted. We will definitely try and couch trainings on that alone, and see maybe in the coming year how best we can address these issues for our constituents. So thank you very much, Clement.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hi there, Verity. Do you have any questions?
No question. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I've recorded these slides from Kwame, so I'll be able to share those as a video afterwards with everyone who was able to join us and those who weren't able to today.
Okay. I think I'll
Thank you very much, Eli, and thank you very much to everyone here. It was really great having this conversation with us all. But I think going forward, let's all maintain the spirit of this that we have begun today. I know definitely one thing that I mentioned with Eli the last time was, if we can have these kinds of meetings, not something that is going to be too frequent, but once in a while, it will be good to catch up and see what is really happening. If we have new ideas like this, we can share. Sometimes it is in sharing one person's idea that you will be reminded of one that you also have that can, seek to benefit us all in what we intend to do. So definitely that's something that maybe we can also expect to happen in the pipeline. So thank you very much, all of us.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for everyone for joining us today. And my apologies for changing out the event link halfway through. I'm delighted that you were able to join us here and jump through those hoops with us. If you take a look in the chat, you'll see actually that here's the upcoming webinar being shared right now by Frank. And I'm gonna end this here, but let's continue this conversation in the WhatsApp group. I think it'll be the best place for us to continue to maintain these connections and share our upcoming events, webinars, and activity from both sides of this relationship.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us as well, Stella. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.